Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe, and it's a special full report, not a special edition, a full report about Summerslam, and that is what we just got finished going through, what we just got finished watching. And you know, it was a big build up for a lot of really good moments. It didn't start out as strong as I wanted it to, but it definitely finished out exactly where I wanted to be. I'm sitting here with Matt Mullins and Stephen Barker, and we are going to talk. Now, one thing that we can say is this was going to be a big panel. We had Derek Jones, we had Adam Harris, we had Steve New, and the later the night got, the more we lost.
It was like a battle royal by the end of the night, man. Motherfuckers dropping out.
Yeah, and it's down to the final three. And you know what's awesome is not only are we on the Kayfabe stream talking about SummerSlam, but we are also on YouTube talking about SummerSlam. And let's just get started. We started the night off with Big E versus Baron Corbin. And you know, it definitely started off at the bottom because I really didn't give a shit about this match.
No, but I had thoughts of the Baron Corbin last night when we were recording that I said I didn't really like it at all, but you guys changed my mind, and I did enjoy how much he was into the character. So
he's showing like he's actually a performer now. Like that lone wolf shit was boring.
Kudos to y'all. You changed my mind.
We're geniuses of wrestling, Matt Mullins. Do you not know us?
No.
I still think the gimmick sucks. I kind of wish he was doing something else.
But. I mean, my issues with Big E is I think he is a badass, but you got to get him out of the New Day gear. You got to make him a badass.
It's time for that Dayglow shit to go.
Yeah.
I feel like this Baron Corbin thing's lazy because if you wanted to put the crown on Shinsuke, then have another King of the Ring. Like, do a King of the Ring, have Shinsuke win it, have him be King Nakamura, and then have Baron Corbin, fall to pieces because Shinsuke won the tournament. But to just take it off like it's a belt, I'm not into that, and I'm not into this Baron Corbin gimmick. And Big E gets the win, big deal. We go into number 2. We got RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle taking on AJ Styles and Omos, and your prediction, Mr. Barker, comes correct. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to you.
Well, okay, full. I didn't start watching it until the Punishment Martinez Sheamus match. I was working, so that's when I started. So I missed a few others, but. It seems like WWE was fucking listening to me because RK Bro is a fucking entertaining fucking group, man. That always works. Like a serious stiff with a goofy bastard. It always works, man.
It's a rock and sock formula.
It works. It works. And man, Matt Riddle's fucking awesome.
It works for you. It does not work for me. RK Bro wins the tag team championship here against AJ Styles and Omos. Matt Mullins, where did you stand on this?
I predicted RK Bro as well, but of course I love AJ, and I wouldn't have been mad if AJ won, but I'm not surprised that they put it on him. They're just over. AJ had some great spots, as you could imagine.
Yeah,
Parker,
of course.
But yeah, I mean, still very slow, man. Slow first 3 or 4 matches.
Yeah, it's, speaking of slow, we go into Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie with Dewdrop in her corner. And this is just really unraveling for me because now Alexa Bliss is a face, and there wasn't a
fucking sense. That's my problem with the women's division totally is that nobody can decide besides Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte is committed heel. But everybody else, Sasha Banks included, Bayley included, like one week they're face, baby face, next week they're heel. And I just don't understand it. And
no, it doesn't follow any type of story or sense or anything. It doesn't. I just can't understand. First of all, how are you even doing this Alexa Bliss gimmick when you fired Bray Wyatt?
I don't get it.
It seems like she would have just disappeared and came back as, regular Alexa Bliss.
You know what she feels like is that she is a favorite of backstage. And it feels like someone backstage, and I bet we could probably guess who it is, it loves her for whatever reason. Because I think that she was more over when she was just like Alexa Bliss and she had fucking Nikki with her.
I think that she's definitely been more over at many different times. I think that she is a golden heel as Alexa Bliss.
She got that RBF, man. She's got that RBF for days.
Well, she is. Her and Eva Marie. Eva Marie should definitely be a manager. She should not be wrestling.
Was it bad? I mean, was it as bad as I envisioned it?
Yeah, it was, and it was boring, and it was just. And the whole, they're already doing dewdrops turning on Eva Marie, and nobody cares enough for it to matter. Like, you have not made us give any amount of shit about any of this, and now you're supposed to do a face turn here for dewdrop. Like, what's dewdrop going to do?
It was a time suck, and the whole thing with Eva Marie grabbing the doll and hitting Alexa Bliss, I was just like, get the fuck out of here.
It's very dumb.
It seems like it's even pissing more on Bray Wyatt by her coming out there with that and still doing it and having the gloves and shit. I just hate it. I just hate it.
Now that Bray's gone, I mean, I didn't like it before, but now that Bray's gone, it is really just insufferable. I can't. I don't like it.
And it's got to be they know it's insulting to Bray, right?
They should. They actually, if it was on my television, it would be insulting to me that it was on my television program.
It insults me when it happens. Yeah. Like that mind control bullshit. The mind control bullshit that she did on what's her name on the fucking ladder. Get the fuck out of here. That's the shit that makes it embarrassing to be a wrestling fan.
Right.
Like that's the shit that when people make fun of us, we're all fucking grown ass men who love wrestling and we've been talking about wrestling for 2 straight days now. That's the shit that makes us look bad. That's the shit that people are like, you're fucking an adult. You have children. You have a college education. You watch this bullshit. That's what they would look at. It's fucking awful.
Yes, it was awful. Alexa Bliss defeats Eva Marie, and Dewdrop makes the announcement that Eva Marie lost, not Dewdrop. Yeah, the whole thing's stupid. We go into match number 4. You kept calling him Punishment Martinez, but of course, he did not get the memo that his name is now Damian Priest.
I'm a Ring of Honor guy, baby.
I understand. Damian Priest takes on Sheamus for the United States title, and I will say, before we talk about anything, is there was a couple times in this entire pay-per-view where the finish was revealed before the actual match. And this is one of them because Damian Priest dressed like a United States title. I mean, he, from head to toe, he looked like I just went and spent a bunch of money on this outfit. I am taking pictures with a belt tonight. You guys better get ready because it's my time to win this belt.
Only missing one accessory.
He's only missing one accessory, exactly. And that accessory, of course, he got, and we knew it beforehand. There's no way that you've been watching wrestling for as long as we have and seen his outfit and didn't know that this is it. He's going to win
that wasn't a job outfit.
No, and it was actually an outfit that was kind of like taken directly from Juice Robinson's playbook from whenever he won the New Japan United States Championship. You already knew because he was freaking dressed like George Washington. So it was like that. You knew it was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened with Damian Priest tonight. And I'm actually kind of excited about it. He's awesome. Everybody seems to like the guy. He looks like $1 million, and he works like $1 million. And now he's actually got a belt. So
it's if they do this right, this is the beginning of when Damian Priest. Punishment Martinez, goddammit. When he is a champion in 3 years, if they do this right, it should be all laid out. I've not heard any wrestling fan say anything bad about this guy. I've heard nothing on any podcast or any of you all or anybody that I talk to about wrestling. It's well known. Everyone knows. Now, if they don't fuck this up, in 3 years, God willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll be on House of Kayfabe talking about Damian Priest fucking at WrestleMania. I mean, this is the beginning. Sheamus don't need that. Sheamus don't need that belt.
No, Sheamus doesn't need the belt. And Sheamus, I've really started really liking Sheamus. So I hope this isn't we're not going to see Sheamus for a while after this type thing. I hope that he's continuing to stay along with us. Now, next up, match number 5, the Usos versus the Mysterios. And I know you guys were really hoping for a heel turn from Dominic. I knew we weren't going to get that after we seen as much contact between the two as we did.
Dominic's got to go. Doesn't he just look like a guy? Doesn't he look like a guy at the Speedway? That guy doesn't look, he doesn't look like a wrestler. He just looks like some dude. He looks like just some dude that's like bussing tables at a fucking restaurant. That does not, there's nothing about him that says anything other than like, I'm Rey Mysterio's oddly tall son. Like he's fucking nothing.
I discovered that the reason why we dislike him is because he went to the main roster first. If he would have went up through NXT and made a name for himself, I believe that we would not hate him as bad as we do.
Nah, not unless he got a whole other face and a body of some sort. He needs a whole other face. And he needs a body, man. He looks, dude, I'm 44 and he looks like me with my shirt off. Like that guy, he has the body of a fit 55-year-old. That dude, that's what I say about me. I have the body of a fit 55-year-old. That dude, he's nothing. He's nothing, nada.
I don't like the guy, but I won't go that hard on him. I don't think he's that terrible. But I do believe that he doesn't fit. It's like he doesn't belong.
No, but man, let's say, but here's something I was really reminded of today when Rey Mysterio got that hot tag and, finished out that match. That old man still got it. He, if you go watch, if you compare him and you think of him and Jericho basically started around the same time, if I'm not mistaken, watch Rey Mysterio at the end of that match. And then we watch that goddamn botch fest of Hoovy versus Jericho. Just look at those two, they parallel and they've paralleled their whole lives, their whole careers. And man, Rey Mysterio, he still got it, man. He's still crisp. His shit still looks good. Say again.
So he's so smooth. Like just his shit looks so good.
I love that I am Lucha shit on his tights because he is Lucha. Like if you unless you are a big AAA fan or CMLL fan, like if you think Lucha Libre, what do you think? You think fucking Rey Mysterio, and then who would you think second if after him?
I would maybe think of
Eddie Guerrero.
Mil Mascaras.
Okay, yeah.
So here's a thought: is I actually wondered, did the Lucha House Party lose their job because Rey Mysterio had an idea to put "I Am Lucha" on his shirts?
Ouch! Are they even still around?
They're fired. I think Ray came in and was like, "I got this idea. I want to put "I Am Lucha" on my gear," and Vince was like, "Okay, we'll fire Lucha House Party." Sort of like, how did you guys think Tiffany Haddish did tonight?
Terrible, because she called it the national championship.
And then she said shit. Right?
First of all, I hate her. She sucks. She's I hate her. There's nothing about her I like.
I think she's a funny person. I think that she just didn't know what she was doing. AC Slater crushed it.
AC Slater crushed it, but I think that Tiffany Haddish is funny in the right situation, in the right movie, or the right comedy special. But it was funny to me because, like, obviously we were supposed to get Cardi B, and Cardi B got pregnant, so Cardi B couldn't do it. So it's like I was just picturing, like, how did that conversation go? Like, somebody's like walk up to Vince McMahon and be like, "Oh, Cardi B's pregnant. We're not gonna get Cardi B," and Vince McMahon's like, "Well, find me another black girl."
That's exactly what happened.
And then they were like, "Well, Cardi B's not black," and he was like,
"It's all the same to him.
Find me another black girl." And they went and found Tiffany Haddish.
She just happened to be in Vegas that day, is what happened. She just happened to be in Vegas, and that's who they got.
They definitely had the plan for a little while because they knew Cardi B was not going to be able.
And then Booker T shakes his head.
So the Usos got the victory over the Mysterios and kept the titles, which I thought was the right move because I definitely did not want to see the Mysterios with the belts again. And of course, I love the fact that the Usos and Roman Reigns all have all the equipment that they need to be the dominant force that they are. We go into match number 6. We were supposed to get Mella and Bianca and Sasha. And
What's
Sasha-
going on? I've looked on the internet. There's no rumors or innuendo about why Sasha Banks was not there. That makes no sense. I've never seen this happen. Has anyone ever seen that? Like you got to build, it's not main. It's not a main event. So it's not that big a deal. But you got this build over this last however many weeks of Sasha and Bianca, and then they're just like, nope, she ain't here. Does that ever happen?
Cards are subject to
Cards are subject to change. This is true, but this right here was a big disappointment for me because, and not that I gave that much of a shit to begin with, because I didn't. I don't care who won that match. It didn't matter to me. But to do it the way that they did it, not only are we going to not explain why Sasha's just not there, then we're also going to have Mella just get beat up by a returning Becky Lynch that automatically gets the championship match for beating Mella up. And to me, that was cheap all in itself. To take Carmella out that way was cheap all in itself because Becky Lynch is supposed to be the big returning face. I'm so not a Becky Lynch fan. I know you are, Barker. I know that you think she's beautiful and you think she's wonderful and you think
she's dreamy.
She was a mediocre female until she got this idea that she was Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is her gimmick is the only thing that makes people even like her, and that's because they are absolutely starved for anything that looks or feels anything close to like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So they're like, okay, she's just not that freaking good.
Did you hear her pop? Did you hear that pop she got? That crowd was dead. That crowd was.
I don't understand it. I don't understand the pop. I don't understand what everybody sees in her. And I don't understand why you would take someone who you've been building up as this new champion that beats everyone. And she has beat all these people and she's on top. And you bring Becky Lynch out and absolutely squash her.
Mega squash.
We didn't even get a match. If you're going to, you did all this stuff wrong to begin with. But if you're going to do all that wrong stuff, and then you're going to have Becky Lynch face to face with Bianca Belair, you were supposedly legitimized with us by putting her through all these matches, and then you squash her with Becky Lynch as if nothing mattered until Becky Lynch come back. Like nothing that happened while she was gone mattered after she erased it tonight. Go ahead, Matt.
I like Bianca. I think she's a great talent, but I don't think she's ready. Her mic skills suck. I don't like the character. I think that it doesn't work in a babyface position. But again, that's my problem with the women's division is nobody knows what the fuck they are. Becky, I do love Becky. And I agree that she's got the Stone Cold persona, but she can talk and she can work, in my opinion, as a female.
She can work, but she's just not better than everybody else. Like she's like the fact that everyone acts like she's top tier, better than everyone. Like Charlotte is like 4 times the performer that Becky Lynch is.
That's not fair because Charlotte Flair's the greatest of all time. That's not fair.
Better than everybody, yeah.
Right. Well, then stop putting Becky Lynch on that level.
Well, she's underneath.
Like Becky Lynch is the fucking greatest.
She's the man. She's the man, dude. She's over. She got a big pop, man. People are fucking.
She is over, and I do not know why, but she is.
Have you seen her? Have you seen her?
Bianca Belair did not deserve that squash, though, and it didn't make any bit of sense to give him a match. She comes back, give him a match.
She might not be ready. there might be ring rust. That girl just had a damn kid.
Well, then don't put the belt on her. That's a real simple fix. Don't even put her in this match. If she's not ready to go, you've been putting Bianca Belair over as this. Yeah. She's a fucking champion right now. You've made her a champion, and you just unwrote all that shit to give Becky this moment that like you said, she might not even be ready for because I don't know. There should have been a match. If there couldn't have been a match, then leave her out of it.
You're absolutely right. It was all clunky. The Carmella coming out. I said this in the chat, and I just got to say it. You know how much you gotta suck when you have a body like that, and I hate you. I fucking hate Carmella. She makes no sense. She feels like diva championship material. She feels like that long gone, thankfully, era of models trying to be wrestlers. She sucks. She has no business being there.
Bad spot in the steps too. Becky throwing her in. I don't know if y'all caught that really, but
yeah, it was just clunky. It was almost like it was so bad. Well, they needed to have big stuff. It's SummerSlam, right? So they got to do big things, and they gave us 2 big things, right? You know, no spoilers for the end, but they gave us a big thing. Like we've all been waiting for Becky. Becky's been getting chanted for how long? Like the Charlotte Rhea last match, that was a fucking classic, maybe the best female match we've ever seen. And that was when they were chanting for Becky, and that's when Charlotte gave the fucking double bulls to the fucking crowd and gave them the Stone Cold, and then she, had the greatest match maybe of all time. So I mean, they needed to it's SummerSlam, dude. You got to do something big, and you got to do it. But they did it really terribly. That was so clunky.
In Carmella's defense, with her situation, she was being robbed of her SummerSlam moment for no reason, so that someone that just had a kid can feel good about themselves. And so, how she reacts to that is, who knows?
Why is Sasha not there? That's the real question.
That is a real question.
I looked everywhere. There's no information.
We have no leads on the whereabouts of Sasha Banks.
What's the theory?
The theory is that they explained to Sasha Banks what they were going to do, and she said, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I will not be at SummerSlam," and hung her phone up, and then went and took a bubble bath. That is my theory.
Put on the Mandalorian and was like, "I'm watching me, motherfuckers."
Well, and also, how could have Becky done that if it had been Sasha and Carmella? You got to beat up Sasha and Carmella to get this match with this squash match with Bianca Belair. Here's a question that I have. Is Becky Lynch does the rock bottom, and
what did they call it?
Michael Cole starts screaming manhandle slam, and I've never heard them say manhandle slam. I've never seen her do that move. This is, maybe, okay, if I'm wrong and we rewind back and that is a thing that happened before she left or something that I wasn't paying attention to, okay. Feel free to roast me in the comments here in YouTube if that's what you want to do. But if I am right, and that has never happened before, Michael Cole, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? You've never seen it before. You can't name it on the spot. And if they do have a name for it, let's hear that name from someone else who actually names the move, because that's how it works. You can't just be the manhandle slam like we all know. No. Like, it's just Michael, you've been there too long to make mistakes this stupid.
That statement should have just been Michael, fucking, what's his goddamn name? The announcer's name that we were just talking about.
Michael Cole.
Yeah, goddamn, bad. It's late. It should have just been Michael Cole, shut the fuck up, period. End of story. It's just that. Just like that should be a t-shirt. We just made a fucking House of Kayfabe t-shirt available on Teespring.
Yeah, and then we'll get
But man, let's talk about it, dude. Pat McAfee is so fucking good. It feels like Vince McMahon is leaving him alone. And he's using Michael Cole as his fucking puppet. Michael Cole's doing all the bullshit. And Pat McAfee really sounds truly excited to be there. He truly sounds like a fan, and like, I can't fucking believe that I'm watching Roman Reigns and John Cena fucking tableside. He is a fucking great announcer.
He reminds me of Jesse the Body Ventura. Like it's like a reincarnation of Jesse, even though he's not dead. I'm just saying.
But I understand what you're saying. He's just so good off the cuff and like everything, even and kind of tinges of Bobby Heenan too. I think because he said he said, "Holy words I can't say on the cock," and then he was like, "Peacock," and I was like, "There you go,
dude. Be funny, like be spontaneous. We love spontaneous shit from our wrestling. That wasn't a line that Vince McMahon was going to feed him in the fucking cans. You know what I mean? That was just him being entertaining because he was a fucking football player and he's been in locker rooms his whole life talking shit and busting balls. And this is why The Rock was great. You know, he knows how to fucking talk, man. He's so fucking good. He's so good. I think he might be wasted as a commentator. Maybe he should be a fucking wrestler.
He should be a wrestler. If you watched him versus Adam Cole, you know he should be a wrestler. But moving on SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. You were talking about things that you weren't expecting. Well, this is just I knew it was going to happen like this. I knew this was going to be the outcome. It just feels like we're like, Drew, I know that we gave you the title to carry during the pandemic when there were no fans, and then we took it away from you. We're just gonna let you win matches. Is that okay?
We're just gonna feed you a bunch of jobbers to the stars, and then because he's over, people love him. I mean,
people love him. Yes, I have a 3-year-old that says Drew McIntyre all the time. He says that he is Drew McIntyre all the time.
Because what's more fucking awesome than a gigantic motherfucking Scotsman and a fucking kilt and a fucking sword? How every 3-year-old boy should, 3, right? Every 3-year-old boy should think that's the fucking coolest shit ever. That's Conan. Like, this is fucking Conan, man. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it is. I think it's the sword. The sword really does it for him.
He-Man's awesome, dude.
Drew looks like $1 million, but there was zero storytelling in the match.
No.
I mean, you could have told us at the beginning, you could have made that the squash match and we'd have all been fine.
Just throw away. Let's get to some good shit.
Well, speaking of good shit, Charlotte Flair versus Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley for the championship.
What match number was this? 8?
This was number 8.
So up until match 8, Pat McAfee is the best thing in the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Right.
Then this might be, and I think Matt Mullins is going to agree with me. I think it was the match of the night.
I agree.
Well, I disagree with that. I don't think it was the match of the night, but Charlotte Flair, I knew this was a segue to Charlotte Flair getting another title run. What
about that robe says job?
Right.
That robe is not a job robe.
Yeah,
you don't put that robe on.
Yeah, yet another time when the wardrobe really gave out the finish there, because when you seen Charlotte Flair, you knew she was leaving with the title. I mean, she is.
Well, as great as Rhea Ripley is, as much as we all love Rhea, and as much as I love little old Nikki, little spark plug Nikki, man, when Charlotte comes out, you're like, that's a champ. Look at that motherfucker. That's a champion. That's heads and shoulders. She's the GOAT. She might be, I mean, it's late. And I've been drinking, but she might be a top 10 of all time. Like, dude, she's a wrestling genius. She's a fucking genius at this shit, dude.
But the storytelling is what was so good, and all 3 of them did great. There was build to it. We were all invested. I mean, I think that there might be real injury involved, but they could have just been selling it that good. But I mean, everybody worked their ass off. It was great. Not mad at either one. I mean, any one of the 3 could have won the match, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. I mean, I knew that Charlotte was going to win, but
it was a fantastic match, and I definitely would say it's one of the best matches of the night. But it's not the best match of the night because I believe that title goes to number 9.
That's not the Goldberg match.
No, it's not. It's Edge versus Seth Rollins, and to me, this was the best match of the night. I loved every second of it. The counter of the spear with the pedigree really popped me. I loved this match. This match was everything I wanted it to be. I'm a huge Edge fan. I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan. Seeing the 2 of them go at it and Edge coming out on top, everything that I wanted from this match was there.
It was a great match. I think that who was calling that match? Yeah, that one was.
That's McAfee. That's SmackDown.
Was it McAfee on that one?
Yeah.
I think that they were calling some moves, creating some move names there as well. I don't know if y'all caught that.
The Educator.
There was like 5 in a row. I thought it was Educator.
Now the Educator, I know what that is.
Cutting the edges, edging up. I don't know what all the fuck he said. Like, what's happening? Edging him up.
Man, hey, we're burying the lead, dude. He came out to the Brood music. They gave us a little snippet on Friday, and then, dude, he gave him the full-on Brood. And I don't know how he came up from the fucking floor. I don't know what magic that was.
Reznor asked. He willed it. He said yesterday they just I want the full music, and then I thought it was great how they put Edge's music in there.
We're going to find that Brian willed a few things in this fucking in this wrestling show later on.
I sure did, and we can we can move on because really there's nothing else to say about that.
Well, I've got one on that.
Go ahead.
This is where sometimes if you're this is the problem with being too smart. I had expectations of a wrestling clinic because I was like, oh man, this is going to be a goddamn clinic, and then when they just started beating the shit out of each other, I was like, oh, Steve, this is a blood feud. If it's a blood feud, you don't start out with a fucking ankle. You don't do a collar and elbow tie up at the beginning. And at the beginning, about maybe the first 5 minutes of this match, it's like, oh man, I want to see a clinic, a fucking, greatest wrestling match of all time. But then they got me because they're geniuses at what they do. Yeah. But the first part of it, I was like, can we see like a Daniel Bryan classic? But then it was just a fucking beatdown, just a fucking Seth Rollins. It was almost like a you'll love this, Matt. It's almost like a 80s Hulk Hogan match where the heel just beats the dog shit out of the face for hours. Just seemed like hours, just beating them and beating them and beating them. And then Edge, comes and climbs the hill. Is perfect,
Edge
it was actually 21 minutes and 15 seconds, but yeah.
You know what I mean?
Edge looks better than he ever has.
Pat McAfee said he had a 10-pack.
I heard him. I love it. That's that shit. Edge is that shit. Seth Rollins that shit. Great match. Great storytelling. Still, I preferred the Charlotte match more, but whatever.
I do too, but I loved it.
You know what? This was a great build-up because you had Charlotte Flair winning the championship. You had Edge beating Seth Rollins in a phenomenal match. And then we build up to something that I thought was going to be my least favorite moment of SummerSlam, and it became my most favorite moment of SummerSlam.
Oh, you're going to get so much hate. I can't wait for this comment section.
I don't care. I don't care. This was great. This was wonderful. And I'm a bad person. Let me just put that out there.
Another one for the bad guy.
Okay, so I am a bad person when it comes to Goldberg because I can't help myself but sitting there hoping that this ends in an injury that keeps him away from wrestling forever. And that is all I can think about. And it's not my fault. I was born this way. These thoughts just come into my head when I see Goldberg's undeserving ass on my television. And I just think anything, if a fucking plane could fall out of the sky and fall on this person so that they stay away from my television, I would be super fucking okay with that. But I said that in jest, and then it looked like we actually might see an injury before this happened, before his knee issue, which may have just been a whole work. And if it was, man, thank you Goldberg for working me, because I loved seeing you get your fucking ass beat with a chair. But I was really worried that Bobby Lashley was going to get hurt. Bobby Lashley took a couple different spills.
And there were some bad spots in there.
Yeah, there were some really bad spots. And I'm sitting here thinking, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to pay this man all this money to come in and possibly hurt one of your biggest stars? I do not understand the logic of calling Goldberg. I don't.
Well, the crowd was right with you, man. And here's where, you know what I started thinking about? Of course, it's not such a big thing, but remember the Rock Hogan match, WrestleMania, right? So they were going to be, supposedly Hogan was going to be the heel, and Rock was going to be the face, and the crowd said nope. And the crowd said, nope, Hogan is the goddamn, baby face of the century, forever baby face in WWE. And what did Dwayne Johnson do? He started doing fucking heel shit because he's a real worker. Now, if Goldberg was a real worker, and
which he's not.
And here's the thing. I think that I agree with
all of Buddy Parker's efforts. He is not.
My whole point with him is like at one time, for a short amount of time, Goldberg was as over as any human being has ever been in wrestling.
Okay,
you remember that?
Take that out of the podcast. Go ahead and remove that from the podcast.
It's true. He had an 18-month run, dude, where WCW, he was bigger than life. He was Hogan in the 80s in 98. Or 99, whatever it was.
This is a spot where you take this out of the broadcast.
So
do not let this go to the Kayfabe House of Kayfabe residents. Do not.
So my point is, when I'm being the Goldberg apologist, I'm apologizing for the fact that he had a fucking run, dude. As much as Chris Jericho is on my fucking Mount Rushmore, and Chris Jericho has never been over like Goldberg was in WCW during the fucking streak. You know what I mean? That's my point. Now,
can you remove Barker from the entire conversation, please?
You have been removed from the podcast. But my point, going back to it, if Goldberg was any kind of worker, knew anything about this fucking business, once he saw this crowd was not having him.
Agreed.
And at one point, you even saw Goldberg, it was on his face. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm Goldberg. I'm the fucking, it's 1998. It's going to take a cattle prod to put me down. If he was really a worker, he'd have just started doing heel shit and fucking fuck you crowd. And I'm going to cheat. And, you can do this shit on the fly. The crowd, and you know what else this was great for? This proves how bad this out of control Zoom meeting that was the Thunderdome was. Because if this was the fucking Thunderdome, Vince McMahon would have had all the crowd like, we love Goldberg, blah, it's great. And he would have booked the crowd to be Goldberg fans, and he'd have been booing Bobby Lashley. And this crowd said, "Fuck you." But dude, Matt, you're a musician. You know recording. Did you hear how much they turned the crowd down? Because when he started to go into work on his fucking knee, the crowd was going ape shit, dude. They loved. It was like a crowd of 51,000 Brian Reznors because they were fucking loving him getting the fucking shit beat out of him with a chair. He was getting heel shit done to him, and the crowd said yes.
I feel
give
like
us more.
You could actually hear the main fader go down.
Yep. You could.
When especially when Bobby grabbed his son and put him in the full Nelson.
Like I was on my feet at that point.
A lot of the crowd was, and I was like, fuck. I was like, savage. I was like, that's awesome. But you could hear him going crazy. But the overall volume went down from where the match started with. For sure.
It was.
I was like,
obvious.
Yeah, get him too before he gets trained.
Wrestlers like, take a chair to this kid too, son.
Yeah, take him out, knees and all. I just, for me, when you say 51,000 Brian Reznors in this crowd talking about Goldberg, if they really are me, then they know exactly what it feels like. And I remember being at WrestleMania 33. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. Oof. And I remember the crowd absolutely loving Goldberg, and everybody around me was chanting Goldberg's name, and they were excited. They hated me.
So were you just like this? Brian was just like,
no, I was not like that. I was screaming the worst things you could possibly say.
Schmoldberg.
About Goldberg. Yeah, Goldberg Schmoldberg is light core compared to the stuff I was saying about Goldberg. And you could see the people's faces. They would turn around and look at me like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, yeah, Brock Lesnar, fuck Goldberg. But
they're like, who hurt you, son?
Who hurt you, Brian?
And my answer was Goldberg. Goldberg hurt me. Goldberg hurt wrestling, and Goldberg got his ass beat with a chair tonight by Bobby Lashley. And I feel like it was just for me. Like, I just want to send Bobby a thank you card and everything. It was just, I loved it. It was,
Dude, if Goldberg's on Cameo, I know exactly what I'm getting Reznor for his birthday.
a look on MVP's face after he said, oh, he had no way to know it was your son. And Goldberg's like, oh, my son is my son. Okay.
And the whole crowd's like, fuck your son.
Yeah, they were.
Well, I feel like the whole thing was. I just feel like the whole thing was put together so that Goldberg could have a daddy moment. And it's like, come on, man. Like, take the kid to Disney World or something. Get the fuck off my TV.
I hate to tell you this, though.
Uh-oh.
His moment ain't over.
It's not. It's not.
I know. We're going to see the rematch in Saudi Arabia because the prince is all obsessed with Goldberg.
I disavow all wrestling matches in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we're gonna see blood. We're gonna see Goldberg come in for the blood money and hopefully get his ass destroyed again.
Nope, he's going squash. He's squashing.
No,
The prince is not going to let his hero fucking lose.
The reason why he's not squashing in Saudi Arabia is this, because isn't the deal over after October?
Ooh, you're
Pretty
right.
sure the deal's over. I mean, you're not gonna. There's got to be somebody in the back at WWE walking in and being like, guys, this Goldberg thing is over. What the fuck are we doing? Like, we've brought this guy in to destroy what we've built so many times. And these people are literally getting ready to throw shit at him for him to get off of their TV. What are we doing wasting time with Goldberg?
They're going to have to bring the Thunderdome back if they're going to try to get him to look like Goldberg is over, because the crowd was not having it.
Right.
The crowd was not fucking having it, dude.
If you want him to be over, then just do shows in Atlanta, Georgia exclusively, and maybe you can get this guy.
His moment's not over, though, and he's going to defend the honor of his son, and they're going to put him over in a match. I'm telling you.
Well, I hope it's a tag team match with him and his stupid son versus MVP and Bobby Lashley.
Is his son even of age? Isn't he like a kid?
I think he's like 12 or 13. I don't know.
He's a teenager. I think he's a
I don't
teenager.
know how old he is. I think it's kind of crazy. I think they replaced him, actually. I don't even think that's his son. I think
it's a work son.
Yeah, it's an actor. Like, I mean, remember when he came back and he was, facing off with Brock Lesnar, and he had that little chubby kid with him.
Yeah,
and then that chubby kid like turned into like this other kid that looks like he's out of a Abercrombie and Finch magazine. Like, wait a minute, did you hire an actor to play your son on TV because you were embarrassed? I don't know.
I tell you what, man, this is just proof.
A rumor. That's just a rumor started by the House of Kayfabe. I don't know.
It's just proof, man. Do not let 54-year-old fucking dudes work, man. He moved like an old man. He moved like a 60-year-old man. He was never a great wrestler ever. You know what I mean? And despite me trying to gently remind Brian Reznor that he was as over as anyone has ever been in the fucking wrestling business.
Remove this from
for a short amount of time. For a short amount of time, Ultimate Warrior was over more than he was, longer than he was.
You can't deny that he sold a shit ton of merchandise, and his intensity is what got him over.
Mm-hmm.
But he never was a great worker. But the combination of intensity goes away when you can't move. So he's trying to do those spots, and they all look so bad.
Painful, man. Poor Bobby deserves so much better.
When he was out there, like when he was in the ring and he was saying, I will always be Goldberg. And I was thinking, yeah, and that's the fucking problem. Get the fuck off my TV.
And you be somebody else.
If you come out here and be somebody else, I might like you, but you're always going to be Goldberg. And that's why I want to vomit. I have to have a trash can beside me when I watch.
Dude, how is Braun Strowman, and I know you're not big on Braun Strowman either, but how is Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and, name whoever else that you want to talk about who's been future endeavored, how are they gone? And Goldberg just co-main evented a fucking pay-per-view. How the fuck is that happening?
No, it doesn't make any sense. And as far as Braun Strowman goes, I wasn't a big fan of Braun Strowman because they were booking him to turn over semi trucks and ambulances and
that's cool, man.
Buildings into the sun. I didn't get into any of that stuff, so it really kind of crippled my Braun fanship from the beginning. But near the end there, I was actually enjoying some Braun stuff, and I feel like they could have done. I mean, obviously, if you have Braun Strowman and you have a brain in your head, you can write for him. Unfortunately, the WWE could not pull that off. but anybody else in the world that ever picked up a pencil and put words on paper could probably do it. I don't know what the fuck the problem was, but Braun Strowman, they paid him a bunch of money because obviously you could do something with him, but they were not skilled enough to do something with him.
Well, they needed to free up money to bring back Goldberg.
Not to poke the Goldberg bear anymore, but did you notice that he didn't come out with the pyro? It wasn't.
I didn't, but I also did notice, and we've been talking a lot about wrestling music theme songs. We're going to do that episode. Please, come back. Because eventually, we've got all of us, over half the House of Kayfabe are musicians. 3 of them are here. We're going to do a music episode, and man, Goldberg's music's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
I can totally do without knocking on the fucking dressing room at this point, though.
It's done. Yeah.
See, that's the thing for me. Like, I don't know about the pyro, and I didn't hear the music tonight because as soon as I seen them knock on the door, I was like, okay, I'm going to walk in the other room until this entrance is over. The entrance makes me remember all the reasons why.
Didn't breathe in the pyro. There was no pyro to breathe in, and he didn't breathe in any of the smoke. So,
and he didn't do his uppercut kick thing too either, did he?
Well, he can't lift his leg that high, and it's probably been really damaging on him to inhale all that smoke for all those years. So he probably really fucked himself up, but just not enough to keep him off my television. Let's move on to the final match.
Hold on.
Do we still have to talk about Goldberg? I mean, we don't know all my shit out of Goldberg now.
Because it's my turn. Because when did the fucking Miz come out and do his bullshit? Was it after the Edge and Seth, or was it after Goldberg?
I can't remember. I kind of put that out of my head.
No, Miz is great, Brian Reznor. He's fucking money every time he's on. No, he's not. That fucking segment was a fucking abortion. That was goddamn stupid.
Every segment they have done with with John Morrison and Miz together since John got back has been an absolute tragedy. So no, I'm not putting over what they're doing. I'm not putting over what some dumbass is writing for them to do.
Individually, they are both great, but
individually, really, the Miz is one of the best stickmen ever, and he is one of the most successful reality TV stars of all time.
So right here, we're going to be taking this out of the podcast. Can we?
Don't pull the producer shit with me. We all know who produces this show.
On the next pay-per-view, The Miz versus Goldberg.
Nevertheless, John Morrison literally is one of the most talented people on the roster.
He's got the albatross around his neck that is the Miz. They got to get him away from him, man. He's main event. He's big money.
Why does he look like Melina? I don't get
Why does he look like Melina?
I don't understand. Such a badass. But
dude, even Xavier Woods, who's a fucking great comedy act, couldn't save that fucking segment. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah, and are we supposed to believe that they sprayed that pure water all over everybody? Is that what they were supposed to be spraying?
I don't know. It's fucking stupid. Like, when I saw that, and I put it in the chat, like, because up until that point, we've had Seth Rollins and we'd had the Charlotte match, we had Seth Rollins, and it's like, we're cooking. We got to the card where it's fucking great, and they can't help themselves. We've got the crowd up. The crowd's loving it. Like, nope, we got to just fuck this up. It's so
I feel like this was a writer watching the Stone Cold Steve Austin beer truck thing and saying, we can do this. We can do this. We're good enough to write this stuff. And of course, once again, they prove that they're not good enough.
We'll get a sponsor with this Pure Water Company, and they'll come out, and rather than a truck of water, it'll just be a 5-gallon jug on his backpack. But the crowd will buy it.
The crowd will be totally into it. No.
The crowd fucking hated it. And again, if it was the out of control Zoom meeting, Vince McMahon would have had people fucking going crazy.
I mean, like, let's also spray the crowd down with water during a pandemic from a virus that spreads through water droplets. That's a great idea. But anyway, now that we have gotten through that terrible segment and the terrible existence of Goldberg, we've got to talk about the main event. And the main event was my tribal chief, Roman Reigns versus John Cena. This match was great. I had fun the entire time. I watched the whole thing very intently. And what did you think? Stephen Barker, I'll start with you. This, in my opinion, was a great match. Where were you?
Chef's kiss. Mwah. I mean, that's it, dude. I mean, how many times this thing's been hyped over the last 5 years, and then they don't deliver? One that comes to mind is AJ Styles versus Nakamura. It didn't deliver like we wanted it to, and House of Kayfabe didn't exist then, so we didn't get to talk about that. This is, dude, John Cena. Smarks out there, you're fucking watching this. You all are wired to just hate John Cena. He's fucking great. John Cena is fucking awesome. He takes a beating, dude. He was selling like Ricky Morton. A long time ago, Jericho on his podcast was talking about how he thought, and Jericho sucks now, but he's still a great mind. He said that, like, the thing about Roman Reigns is he is an excellent, arrogant asshole. And the whole time when he was putting that beat down on Cena, the way that he was just arrogantly going about it, it's heat. It's real heat, man. It's fucking real heel shit. This was great. This could have been a WrestleMania fucking main event. Fucking beautiful. Now, Paul Heyman looked like a schlubby tourist with that fucking lay on. And I love Paul Heyman so much. But him over there with that fucking lay, he just looked like, a businessman on a trip. And, the hotel he's staying at is having a luau. Looked fucking goofy as shit. But, man, it's just everything about that part, that main event, everything from the fucking build up and all the promos and John Cena coming back. It's perfect. This is what you show people who make fun of us about wrestling. Like what I said earlier about Alexa Bliss is what we get made fun of. This, man, when wrestling's good, it's so fucking good. And fucking this was
Partheni Brown.
Right. This was Partheni Brown shit. This was Partheni Brown shit. Dude, it was fucking, it's like, oh, this is why I'm a wrestling fan. Still, after all these years, everything about this is fucking wonderful, except for John Cena's George, because George should be fucking outlawed as a fucking fashion.
So, Matt Mullins, your thoughts on this match? You enjoyed it as well?
I loved it. And you can see that Cena is a true student of the game, and he is a fan of wrestling. He gives us what he thinks we want, and it is. He completes that. I think he did a great job. Roman Reigns is a fucking the place he should have been, but just wasn't ready before. That they were pushing him down our throats, and nobody was accepting it. Now he's fucking got it, and Paul Heyman with him is so great. And Paul's facials, his facial expressions are so fucking good. You just watch Paul, and just what Barker said too is that's why we get excited about. Why I get revved up, and my heart was beating fast, and I was on the edge of my seat. And my great grandmother Partheni Brown would watch pro wrestling and grab the armchairs and pull it up and have a dip of snuff and cuss the wrestlers. And I'm 38 years old, and I'm doing that shit, except without the snuff.
I was gonna say you're dipping stuff now.
No. I'm still tobacco free, baby. But.
Okay, so one thing that I want to talk about before we talk about the end of this match is that John Cena, just like Charlotte Flair and just like Damian Priest, told us he was going to lose this match before he ever stepped through the ropes, because he had a T-shirt on that said 16 up and had 16 championships on the back, and it said 16-time world champion. You don't make that shirt and release it on a Sunday if he's going to be a 17-time champion on a Monday. You got to follow the money on this. And the money says that if you're going to put that much money into a 16-time world championship shirt, that motherfucker ain't going to win that 17th championship tonight. They're going to hold that out for a little while, because I just knew. That's T-shirt 101. Ask one of our sponsors, the Merch Man.
Yeah, they did have me at the attitude adjustment off the second rope.
Yeah.
They got me. I thought that was it. I was like, oh shit, this is off. They got me. Man, how great is it to get got? As smart as we are about this, and when I say smart, I mean about wrestling, not like about like economics and shit. Like as smart as we are, we got because I was like, oh shit, he just went AA off the fucking second rope. This is it. We're gonna go 17, baby.
I don't know about you, but I'm a rocket scientist, so I'm pretty smart, and I didn't see that coming either.
Think about the podcast.
Did they get you? Did you think
for fun? Rocket scientists during science.
You're right.
During the day.
Did they get you, Brian? Did you think?
They did. I thought it was over right there. You know, you don't see an AA off the top rope and a kick out very often. So that was. But
man, Roman sold it so good. I mean, it was just they
this
worked
was all about Roman.
They worked so well together. It was an awesome.
And you could tell this was all about Roman. Everybody from Paul Heyman to John Cena to Roman Reigns himself, even Brock Lesnar at the end, were all working for Roman Reigns. This is all about Roman Reigns and making Roman Reigns exactly what the WWE claimed he was when everybody was like, no, this guy sucks. Get him off our TV. And now they're like, okay, this is what we wanted you to cheer for. This is the guy this is what we wanted you to believe.
Yeah, we wanted you to be our main baby face.
Yeah, we wanted to feed this guy to you. You spit him out. Now we don't want you to have him, and you want him. And then now let's talk about the music that hits. After Roman Reigns gets the victory on John Cena, we hear Brock Lesnar's music, and Brock Lesnar comes out. Despite all the rumors that maybe he went and signed with AEW, which I thought was complete shit from the beginning. I thought that was not going to happen.
Never going to happen.
No, there's no way Vince McMahon's going to let that happen. I'm thinking that would really be a tipping point there if Brock Lesnar did anything like that. But we're not going to see that from Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar shows up with his goofy ponytail at SummerSlam. And the beard, though, I'm glad it's back. The ponytail can go. But the beard was on point.
He looks even bigger. I mean, to me. I mean, he is a scary motherfucker. Jesus.
He is the number one scariest motherfucker on the planet. Because if you're MMA fans, we've watched that guy beat up some of the all-time greats in MMA. We know for a fact that he's real. What does the God Emperor say? He's real.
He beat Frank Mir up, even in the one that he lost to Frank Mir.
He beat the shit out of him. He just didn't know how to get out of that ankle shit.
Exactly. He lost to Frank Mir the first time. He beat Frank Mir the second time. And he beat the shit out of Frank Mir both times.
He beat the shit out of Randy Couture. Randy Couture, who is on the fucking Mount Rushmore of MMA, Randy Couture said, this is one of my favorite quotes of anything. He said, getting hit in the face by Brock Lesnar is like getting hit in the face with a toaster. Like, just these gigantic fucking hands smoking your fucking head. Brock Lesnar, dude, what did we talk about? And this is an episode that's not released yet, so I may be skipping ahead. What did we talk about on the episode that you'll hear in a few days, actually, that if wrestling don't fuck this up, we're ready for a fucking new boom. And what's going to help fuel a boom than fucking Brock Lesnar and Roman motherfucking Reigns, dude? It's all on the table. The table's out. You got your knife. You got your fork. It's ready. We're ready to go.
If anybody that didn't watch SummerSlam and is watching this, like our review and our take on it, go back and rewind or fast forward to that end part and just watch Paul Heyman's face when Brock hits the ring.
He's genius.
Paul made that moment. He made that entire moment because it was like he seen the devil himself.
Yeah, I had chills when the music hit, and then when I see Paul's face, I'm like, ooh.
Because now you've got that story where like Paul Heyman knows that Brock Lesnar is the fucking undisputed baddest man alive, but he's also got Roman Reigns, and it's gonna be wonderful. I hope it ends with like a Paul Heyman in a cage over the ring match.
I don't know about that. I don't really care about a shark cage match, but I will say that I just hope it doesn't end with Goldberg coming back. That'll make it all worthwhile for me.
No, see, okay, so like if they want to go do, and we've talked about this. This has kind of been a House of Kayfabe thing, and I'm sure other people have talked about it too. If they do this right, we could do Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar both with the belts in WrestleMania. Holy fucking shit, fellas!
Man, that's wow.
That's where we want to go, right? That's what we want. We all want
never
Bobby Lashley and Brock. Have they ever wrestled even?
No.
It's time, baby. Just build it. Build it to fucking WrestleMania.
It's
holy shit.
Having that championship versus championship. Oh man, the Universal World Heavyweight Champion. Oh man.
Oh, give it to me, please.
It could be really awesome. And this was a great pay-per-view. And near the end, I mean, it started out slow, but it definitely built up. And this is a straight climb from the bottom of Baron Corbin all the way to the top with John Cena and Roman Reigns. But and we got to see Goldberg limp his ass out. I love it. This is all great, man. I just can't.
Hey, Brian, how much money would you spend to buy the chair that was used on Goldberg's leg? Like if they sold that, like Bobby Lashley, signed it, and so
then I'd have to bring Goldberg's sweat into my home.
But it's the chair that smashed his knee.
Yeah, but it would have Goldberg all over it. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want anything to do with it. Wouldn't want anything to do with it. And with that being said, we have been here talking about SummerSlam. SummerSlam was awesome. We enjoyed it, and the House of Kayfabe gives it a big thumbs up. As for Stephen Barker and Matt Mullins, I am Brian Reznor, and this is the House of Kayfabe, the full report on SummerSlam. We will see you next time right here on the Kayfabe stream and YouTube.
You said House of Cabe.